Good morning, brothers and the occasional sister. We're just feeding ducks here. Here's Ducky, my very original Muscovy duck. Giving her some because she can't use the feeder. She's never worked out how to use this. All the other ducks use it, but she never has done. And she'd starve if it was winter time. In the summer there'd be enough grass around, she'd find a way around. That's the same with people, isn't it? Some people can just never work some things out. We're all so uniquely different. And often those people that can't work things out can do other things that the majority can't do. And I fit into that box because I'm terribly dyslexic. Not so bad today. I've trained myself to read and do things in a different way. Different to the way that you do it. There's a lot of things that I really struggle with at school, and I still struggle with stuff today. There's things I find almost impossible to do. But I also do a lot of things that other people don't do. And this is an advantage to me. The majority of the people in the world are generally wrong. And there's about 2 or 3% that are thinking outside of the box that achieve great results. And they're your boss. People that innovated and create companies that do different things that have never been thought of before because they think outside of the box. They think outside of the norm, the standards that everybody works to. And the majority of us work for a boss. Some of us are lucky. We've got our own business and we become our own boss. But the majority of people work for someone else. And that person you're working for has the control, they have the responsibility, and they've also got generally more money, but not always. Particularly if you're a small business in New Zealand right now with all the lockdowns and that, which are making it difficult to run your business. I was talking to a bloke across the road that runs a construction site there, and he lost 30 grand. They built these prefab buildings. But he's the boss, and he's the one that thought outside the square, that created his business a few years ago. And he likely will have that thinking to work out how to carry on and bring his business back up, because he's got that different type of thinking. The good news is that all of us can think outside the box, and all of us can actually change that and change our direction. It comes with fear of the unknown, and you're not sure where you're going to go, and that's probably the thing that stops most people from doing that. I'm just watering my second lot of wasabi while I talk to you. Sorry about the camera moving around. So what do you do and where do you go to do something different? Well, I want to give you an example of my own life, and I am going to keep this short. I was working for a company called Frost Wholesalers that sold General Motors parts and AC Delco and Hella and all those different automotive bits and pieces. Repco. Repco was our opposition. They came later on the piece, and of course today they're a chain of automotive stores. But that was the 80s. That was before there was parallel importing, and it was a time when you really had to pay a lot more for stuff. Stuff became cheaper, so warehouses were a thing, which were a big thing, and then they supplied the retailers, and then of course later on that all changed, and companies like the warehouse themselves, who imported directly and sold direct to the public, things got cheaper, and it pushed those warehouse, the ones that were the middleman to the retailers, pushed them off the market completely. And that company I worked for, Frost Wholesalers, it closed down. So what happened during that course of my time was I was like working as a sales rep. I was selling to car dealers, I was selling to panel shops, car painters, grooming outfits, and mostly automotive. I'd sell to rental companies. All their car rubber mats, for instance, going to be replaced, all their aerials. I would sell that stuff, and I'd go around in a car and I'd talk to people and I'd sell them stuff, and that was my job, and I enjoyed the job. I loved it because it taught me how to talk to people. But the entire time I realised that I was never ever going to get ahead like I wanted to, and secondly, I wasn't that passionate about selling car parts. And I thought, what's the point in me spending my entire existence selling something that I'm not that passionate about? Is this what life is supposed to be? I was passionate about music, and I thought, why can't I play music? That would make more sense. Every day I do something I love, and I'd make a living. And I came up against a brick wall. Even my own boss said, you can't do that. His words were, not everybody can be an Elvis or a Beatle. And I said, I don't want to be an Elvis or a Beatle. I just want to play a little bit of music and make enough to survive. And he said, well, sorry, but it's just not doable for everybody. And in a way, he's quite right. It's not doable for everybody. Unless you've got a die-hard attitude like I had. Just you watch me. I wasn't a great singer. I'm not a great singer. I wasn't a great guitarist. I'm not a great guitarist. I wasn't a great harmonica player. Actually, I wasn't a bad harmonica player. I've done quite a lot of big international concerts on harmonica. All right, but there are plenty out there a lot better. So I said to him, well, listen, I bought a ticket to Sweden. I'm going over there to play music. I want to explore this. And a lot of people said, man, you're going to find that hard. Well, the first year I went over there, it was hard. I think I spent half of my life savings. I came back home and told my dad. He said, how was it, son? I said, well, had a fantastic time, Dad. He said, did you make any money? I said, well, no, I didn't. He says, well, did you spend any money? I said, well, actually, I did. I spent about half my life savings. He was like, really? And I said, yep. I said, but you watch the space, Dad. I've set something up that's beautiful. What I'd found over there, what actually a friend of mine called Stu found and passed it on to me. I met Stu in the Frankfurt Youth Hostel. I found that there was a huge franchise of Irish pubs, but they were not in Ireland. They were in Germany and Switzerland and Denmark, mostly in Germany, where I worked. Just doing my tomatoes here. Look at these beautiful tomatoes. And you could play, and people would give you tips, large tips. Before I knew it, I was making a lot of money. More money than I ever dreamed of. A lot more money than I made as a car parts representative for Frost Wholesalers, and I was doing what I loved every day. I did a huge amount of concerts, 3,159 of my books, and it was the adventure of my life. Point to the story is that if you go outside the box, if you ignore what people say, even if you don't necessarily financially succeed, because I wasted a lot of my money, I had some pretty hedonistic sort of habits. Gambling was one of them. I was a gambler, a smoker, a drinker, sex, drugs and rock and roll, baby. But hey, I had a great time. I had a good time. I saved money too, and some of that money is now put towards this farm that I've got today, or this 10-acre block. Not all of it. A lot of this was also made through my other YouTube channel, which again was another innovated, something completely outside the box thing which worked. The thing is, you have to be prepared to take a risk. You have to be prepared to possibly fail. You've got to give it a go. And the most important thing is to do what it is that you love doing, and do it in a way that's a little bit different to everybody else. So you become your own unique self and a better version of your own unique self, and you'll achieve great things. Oh yes, I've had lots of failures, things that didn't work out, but you just get back up and try something new. That's the whole beauty of it. Right, I'll carry on with watering this. I've got to put some new fences up, some change electric fence for the sheep, because I've got them in a dry paddock right now. They've been scouring, and get on with walking my dogs and smash this day out. You guys have a fantastic day too, and check on a brother. More than ever right now, check on a brother. Go steady. See you later.